different perspective. And I can see where Lenny would say great things about Wheeler. Plenty of potential, a great fastball, but I think to me the concerning thing is going from that pitcher's park in Flushing to that hitter's park in Philly. And I'd rather have a Montas than a Zach Wheeler. Just me. Who else do I like? Well, there's a lot. You know, I got to talk about Jesus Luzardo because everybody else is. He's got all the potential in the world. I'm not a naysayer. I'm a buyer. But. The thing that concerns me about Luzardo is not his ability to pitch. It was last year, for example. We were expecting him to start the year in Oakland, even though it was being low-key. It was being not talked about. You know, they started the year in Japan against Seattle, and he didn't make the trip. And when they came back stateside, we were really expecting, both reality and fantasy-wise, for Luzardo to be called up from the minor leagues and be a part of that Oakland A rotation. And he gets hurt. And stays hurt. Now, maybe it's just a freak injury. I get it. But we saw a snip of Luzardo. And when you look at his ADP compared to other players, yeah, I see a lot of upside. No doubt about it. He could win the Cy Young Award. And when you talk about starting pitchers only going 3 or 4 innings to start the year, that puts him on great ground to compare him to Cole, DeGrom, or anyone else. My concern is, though, the fact that we've seen such a short preview of what very well could be a great career. Now, I think he makes the rotation, but know this, he hasn't pitched more than 109 innings in a single year as a pro. This short season is definitely a plus for Luzardo. The 3 Cactus League games that he played in before the season was shut down, he had a 1.08 ERA and a 0.60 whip. There's no doubt he has the ability. There's no doubt he's going to get the opportunity. It's just a matter of where do you draft him. I liken him as a pitcher to last year Vladdy Jr. as a hitter. You know, last year, the buzz among hitters was Vladdy Jr. Everybody wanted Vladdy Jr. on their fantasy team. And if you drafted him and got him, I think you drafted him early. And what did he produce? If you weren't in a dynasty league and you drafted him in the 5th round last year, you got burned. I just am concerned about that from a pitcher perspective from Luzardo. Yeah, I've drafted Luzardo, but I've got him in middle rounds. And that's where you should be drafting him. Middle rounds. Another pitcher that I really like, coming off of an injury, and I really like this pitcher a lot, is Lance McCullers Jr. Yeah, I mean, Lance McCullers Jr. did not pitch at all in 2019. He's going to be in the rotation, probably the number 3 guy in Houston. He's got a 95 mile per hour fastball, a great curveball. He's going to be right behind Verlander and Greinke in that rotation. Look, he's going to strike out more than 9 per 9 innings. He's going to get offensive support. He's going to pick you up some wins. He's going to get you a ton of strikeouts. And he's being drafted, his ADP, guys, is way down, 200 or so. I think Lance McCullers Jr. could very well be the value of 2020, the value of the draft. There are a few more I want to just mention. Julio Urias for the Dodgers. I really like him. Max Fried for the Braves. Jake Odorizzi. Musgrove for Pittsburgh. And then two more that may not even be drafted. They may be free agents right now on your wire. The first one's Dylan Bundy. He'd be a great last pick or next to last pick in the draft. He's going to strike out batters. He's moving away from Baltimore to a great pitching situation in Anaheim. A great defense behind him. When you got a Jonathan Simmons at shortstop and you've got Mike Trout in center field, you've got a great defense behind you. Bundy's not hurt. He's not old. He can still strike people out. Look, this spring he struck out 16 and walked 1. Okay? He's going to put up decent numbers, and he's maybe a free agent right now on your waiver wire. Another pitcher, finally, I want to mention today for draft purposes, and I know he can be erratic at times, but he's the number 2 pitcher right behind Jack Flaherty in St. Louis, and that's Dakota Hudson. 16 wins last year, 3.35 ERA. He was a reliever in 2018, built his arm up. Last year went to the rotation. He had a 56.9% ground ball rate. And the Cardinals are a strong defensive team. I think the problem with Dakota Hudson, he doesn't strike out enough for me. But he's an improving pitcher who's probably a free agent, probably not being drafted, and if he is, it's late. And as the number 2 starter on the Cardinals, I think he's worth a late round pick in your draft, depending on your needs for pitchers. So there's sort of a breakdown, guys, of pitchers to get early or not, pitchers to get in the middle rounds, and pitchers to get late. We're going to do more of this. We're going to do hitters the same way. Because I think we're going to have baseball. I think we're going to play. I think we got to draft accordingly to the way the season is going to roll this year. So thank you for being with me this morning. Andrea, DeMazins, DK Luce, Doug Boyle, George, Lenny, Zelmo, all of you guys out there listening on podcasts, thank you so much for being with me this morning. I'll be back with you Tuesday on Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports here on the Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports Network. Everybody have a great day. Talk to you soon.